Whatever it is you're doing, no matter what you're doing right now or what you've been doing, you're not the problem. Now, what do I mean by this? Um, you're probably going through something. You're probably suffering. And you don't want other people to know, but don't know why this is happening to you. And the only logical option is it must be your fault. Now, the problem with this mindset is it's just an endless hole that you keep digging and you keep reaffirming for yourself. You you think these things happen just because of your actions, but really they may just be more out of your control than you can think. Now, when I was younger, when I my family, when my mom got cancer, when we were in that hospital, I blamed myself for not being a good son to my mother. And I was like 10, 11, 12. I don't even remember how young I was. But I felt like a bad son because of things in the past that truly didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But they did matter to me. And pretty sure you know those little moments where you explode or you show a super strong emotion and things just blow up or things get worse. You may recognize this and be like, I don't want that to happen again. But really, you're scared of you're scared of showing who you really are and what you are. That's the reason why you had it closed off in the beginning, no? That's the reason why you weren't really being truthful with anybody. Now, you can stay like this, but what do you want to do? You okay with feeling sad the rest of your life? You okay with constantly feeling like the problem? Most likely not, you're not. And most likely, most people don't even think of you like this. We get in these constant thought loops, these worries of, like, what are we? What are we doing? And we overanalyze what we are and what our actions are coming out to, right? But that's just a trap in itself. And healthy people don't constantly worry about what's going on. Healthy people can accept what's happening and believe that everything's going to be okay because they trust themselves. Now, that's hard to say and that's hard to apply to everybody because one, you have to build that. Two, you got to want it. And let's say you want it, but you just don't have it built. Okay? How can you build it? Well, first you got to really start off with what is it about yourself that you just that you know isn't you? What is it that you're doing right now that you feel like is hurting you more than it's helping you? Those things you need to change. Like those things you need to get comfortable with and find a way to make them work. Oh, I know I struggled a lot with my overthinking, but now I see it as a tool to help me, well, to help me figure out a situation and help me navigate it and to calm me down. While this overthinking would usually give me stress, now I can use it as a place of reason, a logical a logical system for me to follow. I know whenever those thoughts start to deviate a bit into fear. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish the line of what's fear and what's real. I know I was scared to talk to people because I was scared of them judging me, judging anything about me, every little thing, every big thing. I used to I used to care a lot about my forehead. I remember when I was in middle school, I used to have like an Elvis Presley haircut, but that's because like I went to his barber one time and gave me like a triangle edge up, bro. Like literally like a triangle edge up. And it was so bad. I was basically, oh my god. To this day, I don't let my mom live that down. But I remember it made me so insecure about how I looked, but it made me feel less, because, some people joked, and rightly so. I mean, if I saw somebody with a haircut like that, I probably would have said something too. But, you try to play it off. You try to be like, haha, like, oh, that's a good one, man, or, oh, like, it doesn't bother me. But it really does, and that's the worst part about it is whenever you don't want something to bother you, yet you could feel it, and it's very deep. It almost that gives you this little anger, this little, I don't know. But you know what I mean, it's just, oh, that anger isn't really good to keep locked up. And I know I keep on saying this, but it's not healthy to keep your emotions to yourself. And I believe now it's kind of selfish. It's selfish to keep your emotions to yourself because your emotions are your true thoughts. And usually if you're keeping it to yourself, you're probably hurting others. And that's why you don't want to share it, I remember I used to be so angry at my mom telling me to clean on a Saturday, which was usually our cleaning day. Every morning, I'd wake up, I'd hear the Mexican music in the living room, and I'd hear the pots clanging, and I just knew that it was going to be a cleaning day. And I dreaded it. I used to dread it. But now I see it as, well, it's not like that dread isn't there. I don't enjoy cleaning. No, I don't want to clean, but I understand the value. I understand that we each have our roles in this household, and it's up to us to keep a clean living, and to it's almost like a form of respect. And it's kind of ironic because my room isn't the cleanest of rooms. In fact, it's pretty dirty. Say, leaving clothes on the floor, bags of food, But when you're just so used to something like that, it feels almost impossible to change out of. But I'm not happy about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to continue to live like this. Sure, maybe almost like the child version of me just trying to stick to it, being like, no. But I don't know, man. Changing is weird. Because I feel like change only comes to me whenever I finally am tired of myself. I only change whenever I tried to change too many times and it hasn't worked. Like with this YouTube, I always use this as an example, but it took me so long to get started. Every little problem that popped up with my software or my computer just felt like a roadblock and a detour to the beginning. That's what it felt like, and I would I would get so sick of trying to fix a new problem, that I just like, it got to me so much, and I started to get real mad, and then it started to bleed into my at work. I remember I'd be at work and I'd be like, oh, I'm here at work. I don't want to be here. This job isn't someplace I see myself in the future. And if only I could just be on my video. I could be on YouTube making the videos I want to make. And, who knows what could happen. And I would constantly think about that. But I'd get home. And what'd I do? Nothing. I'd do what I usually did. I'd get home. Shower, get ready, do a couple things, but I'd always be on the game, I'd always hop on the game. And I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to this. We hop on the game now, and it's like we're just on YouTube. Or at least that's how I feel. I'm usually on the home screen in YouTube. Or I'm like on this game right here, FIFA. I don't know. This is just one of the games that I can just hop on whenever. When I'm really down, really up. Or when I just don't want to even play anything. This is a game where if I don't even want to play, I can even play. It's just so difficult, like knowing when you can truly be comfortable. 'Cause me, no, I'm not comfortable right now, but doing better than ever, I feel like. And this YouTube channel is, I want to push these messages to you guys. I want to push this inspiration. Well, because I feel like nobody ever hears it, like maybe we do hear it in a way. We see these like Jim Bro TikToks, or we see these Andrew Tate videos where it's, oh, in order to be the alpha, you gotta be this, and that. You gotta know all the huzz. You gotta work out 3 times a day and diet and only drink water. But that's not how life goes, does it? I just got a text from my mom right now while I'm making this video, telling me to clean the house. And oh my god, I wanna crash out right now. It's always the timing, isn't it? Like, you feel like you're getting started with something, and then something else comes behind it, and it's like, oh no, I gotta put my time and focus on this. It sucks. It sucks. It does. No, it does. And I'll be the first one to say it, that it sucks. But you just gotta get things done, You gotta work so you can live. You don't gotta live to work. And it's so crazy nowadays that that's how it feels like the world is. People work so hard that they don't even end up living. Or some people don't even work at all and they're not living. Like, it's so crazy how life is working right now. You see, I don't believe I'm gonna be. Well, I'm probably gonna be working on. I know I'm gonna be working most of my life, but I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be my worth, or my idea. I don't want that to define me. I guess that's a better way to say it. We let so many other things judge us, and let so many other things define us. Yet we never draw that line, do we? Or at least it takes us a long time to puff our chest out and be like, no, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is me. I'm not gonna be what you want me to do. I'm gonna be what I want me to be. You know, and it's such a powerful saying because well, no one's looking out for you as much as yourself will be. It's kind of a lie though. Sure, yeah, nobody's gonna put your priorities first, your thoughts first. Yes, but that doesn't mean people won't try to include you or people won't try to help you out and be there for you because I believe in what you put in, well, the golden rule: respect, treat people how you want to be treated. But more than that, you gotta you gotta put out what you want to come back to you in a way. So if you're just constantly pushing this negativity, this mindset of nah, I'm not good enough, or nah, it's just not me, or nah, like that they said that it's so hard, or they said that I can't do that. But why do you care what they say? Like realistically, and it could be your best friend, your mom, your girlfriend, your freaking boyfriend. I don't know, bro. It could be anybody. Why are you letting them decide for you who you are? It's so weird how we blame ourselves for other people's judgments. We give other people this grace, and we don't give ourselves that grace. That grace is so important. It's so strong. It's so necessary in order to live like a content lifestyle. You gotta give the same grace to yourself as you do others, but you gotta also, if you're the opposite, you gotta give other people the same grace you give yourself. If you're truly believing that, okay, I'm no one's looking out for me. I'm only looking out for myself. It's me against the world. That's a slippery slope, man. Like, I don't know. I learned the fact that just because you can keep everything to yourself, that doesn't mean you should. And more than that, other people, they care. They care a lot more than you think, and people want to help you, especially people that you have such a close relationship with, people that you feel like you can trust, people that are good to you, and there's nothing wrong with them, at least with the way you guys are communicating, or your relationship is. Maybe that's when, sure, it is your fault, but maybe that's just who you are. The way you communicate is just not the same. Maybe they like to call you every once in a while, yet you don't really are the one to make that call, and yet you still feel bad. You don't have to be. They understand that you're not the one making that call. And that's why they're calling you. That's why they're texting you. That's why they're checking up on you, because they care enough, and they know that you're not going to do it. Yet they still want to check up on you. They still want to make sure you're okay. And those type of people are so important because they don't come in a dozen. Those type of people are people accept you. And it's wild how we can have all these other people accept us for who we are, and yet we still find so many little flaws and so many problems that it's just like, no matter what they say or no matter what help they try to give us, it just doesn't feel enough, does it? I remember my girlfriend trying to talk to me about my dissociation, and I appreciate the words she's saying to me. And I understand that I'm not alone. I understand that I self-isolate because, well, I feel like that's why I feel most comfortable, but it's also where most of my problems I feel like arise from whenever I just want to be by myself, and I completely ignore everybody else, and it's just a shutdown. And shutting down is it's like the red ring of death on your Xbox 360, if you remember that. You could put a game in, make a weird scratch noise, and you'd be like, "What? What am I supposed to do?" Sorry, I got interrupted. Forgot where I was at. I think I'm gonna just continue at. I'm just gonna restate my point. It's not your fault. In fact, even if you're doing bad stuff, it's so weird that, like, your environment really does dictate a lot of, like, who you are and what you are. Like, no matter what you can do, you're gonna end up in certain ways. So if you've had if you live in a certain area, if you are around certain people, you're more likely to turn out a certain way and a certain thing. And yeah, like for example, if you don't have a father, how much do not having fathers affect a child, a young man, or even a young woman? But I'm gonna speak in a young man's perspective because I have a couple friends whose fathers aren't around and who can tell me with great confidence that had a severe impact on them, like no other. I remember my friend ended up on the street, and it was just a bunch of bad luck, bad luck, bad luck. And his father wasn't around. He was a young kid, the youngest out of three, and I bet he felt like he had some part to play to it. It's weird how trauma gets us this way. Like, we understand that there's greater circumstances than us, but we always feel like we had a part to play. No, we always feel like, maybe if I didn't do this, all of this wouldn't have happened, and everything would be okay. But that's just not true. It's not true, is it? Things just happen because they happen, and it's never in our control, is it? We can only ever control what we ourselves. That's all we can ever control. And sure, maybe you can influence other people, but does it truly ever go out the way you want it to? Controlling and manipulating other people, while it seems, it could get your agenda, and maybe your agenda is something that benefits a lot of people. But it's still manipulation. It's still messing with other people's heads. It's still influencing the mind of somebody else in order to get what you want. Which on the grand scheme, which on a bigger scale, just doesn't sound good. I don't know. Oh. But anyways, let's backtrack. Let's pull back. It's not your fault that you have trauma. And it's not your fault that you couldn't. That in that moment, that was all you could do. Like I said, we always think about the little things. We always think about what we could have done in the moment. But in the moment, the choices that we made were our full decisions. They were our choices. At the end of the day, when the history books are written, they don't write about what you could have done. They write about what you did do. And what you did do was X. What you did do was suffer. What you did do was let it happen because you felt like there was no other way that it could go about it. You felt like if it just happened in the background, if you don't pay too much mind to it, if you let it sit, that maybe it'll go away and things will get better. But it never does, truly. It's always there in a form, or it's not there and it causes so much problems. And we get confused why we get wrapped up in these similar patterns and problems and predicaments. Uh, it's baffling, though. It's baffling how much little things matter, but how much they don't actually. Like, before I guess you make that decision, or in the moment while you're making it, sure it does. But after there's nothing you can do about it. And that's some things that people have to accept. The past is a past, and you have to move on. You will wake up, and it'll be a new day, whether you like it or not. But you gotta learn to like it. You gotta learn to be comfortable around it, because what's existence if you're just suffering and you're just rotting? There's always something you can do to better your life, even when everything just seems so against you and hard. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I want to thank y'all for listening. I want to thank y'all for being here. And if this helped you in any way, if this gave you maybe a new thought or a new idea, or maybe this just gave you nothing, but I'm just glad you're here. So that's why. I wish you good morning, good afternoon, good night, good evening. Everything. I'm Dia. I hope to see y'all soon, man. Alright. Peace!